Swabby.
Alright, so we're on a third one. I was worried I wouldn't finish this, so I'm going to do something that'll relieve some stress on my part and allow the video to be shorter. So, even though Hana and Uo's backstories were somewhat hinted in 2001, I'm going to skip them for now since their respective episodes don't actually appear in the original anime. Also, before I continue, there's another detail I missed. Since Kagura wasn't introduced prior to the rooftop scene with the cats, Kyo doesn't mention them being surrounded by boars when he was with Kagura once. And, yeah. Alright, so we're gonna start. At the lake in 2001, Toru's hair isn't tied in bows. 2001 and the manga actually show Kyo and Yuki hugging Toru when she falls. 2001 doesn't show Yuki thinking about the hat, nor does it have the Hanajima and Kyo grave scene, as I mentioned last time, so Kyo being upset isn't explained either. The manga has Ayame saying there are two people who can drink the tea he makes, likely for some character interaction development, for instance saying that Akito is one of those people, and thus suggesting that they may interact somewhat frequently like the other two musketeers. 2001 didn't introduce Mayuko, so she's not mentioned in the conversation about Kana's wedding. Because Shigure doesn't ask if Ayame went and took the pictures, they don't talk about Mayu previously dating Shigure. Instead, they skip over it by having Hattori oddly claim that he was suspicious of Ayame about why he came to the lake house. 2001, Hattori denies the photos. Strangely, only the 2001 dub changes Ayame's 1,000, 2,000 line to 1,000, 10,000. Obviously, the Mayuko scene at the end isn't in 2001. When Yuki and Toru are reminiscing about the summer house, there's a single panel in the manga with everyone eating together. Most of Yuki's arc in Kisa's episode is avoided in 2001, including the part where Shigure teases him and when he rests on Toru's shoulder. It's only hinted at once during Toru's speech with the image of Yuki hugging himself, but it lacks his internal monologue. Toru mentioning that she was bullied is not addressed in her 2001 speech. For some reason, the dub and the sub of 2001 translate Kisa's choice to stewed leeks, or chives, despite the Japanese voice actor even saying "niratama," which is eggs with chives. In 2001 Yuki's speech, he doesn't address his own self-loathing. Instead, Yuki puts more emphasis on being able to love oneself by having someone else love you, by adding that he and Haru love her instead of just focusing on Toru's affection for her. Kisa doesn't speak about improving in 2001, nor does Yuki promise to do the same. Oddly, this scene is moved to after Kisa decides to head back to school, and it's shown as a flashback with Toru present instead of Yuki. Kisa doesn't call Toru Sissy or Big Sister in the 2019 dub. This could be due to proper lip syncing. The same was done with the Yankee girl to Uo. 2001 randomly starts with the Mogeta kid singing what I assume is supposed to be the Mogeta theme, followed by the Yuki fan club running out of the house before cutting back to current events. Motoko's nightmares are 2019 only. Most of the 2001 episode is filmed through a video camera to add more of a comedic touch. Toru telling Hana that Kisa, as well as Hiro in the reboot, is coming over after work is not in 2001, and Hana's subtle disappointment is not shown. This is the first time that Motoko is shown in 2001. Mai Goto is only referred to as member number 2 for some reason. She's not meant to be present in the visit to Hana's house, but was included in 2001 only for hijinks. The Yuki fan club randomly recites their club rules in 2001. Minami recounting Hana's powers briefly shows the scene where she's punished for being mean to Toru before the endurance run, but the scene itself doesn't actually happen in 2001. 2001 shows the Yuki fan club going to the train station, but for whatever reasons, the animators superimpose the girls over real-life footage. Mai takes Mio's line about asking what Hana's house is like. 2001 has Motoko getting caught in the transition card and the girls awkwardly meandering around the house for padded runtime. An odd decision is that 2001 Hana mentions that Megami is in his room rather than her closet, likely to make the scene less creepy, I guess. 2001 adds a scene of Uo spotting Toru waiting outside the train stop. She asks her why she's there, to which Toru says she decided not to go to work. The only difference here is that Toru is meant to head to work later rather than not going at all. The original has the Yuki fan club realize how Megami figured out their names at a park rather than Hana asking Megami himself. And here is where the show deviates again. Hiro and Ritsu are meant to be introduced after Kyo's true form, but the OG changed that. The reboot readjusted this so that these episodes, along with Kisa's, occur one after the other before the true form. With that being said, I'm going to continue addressing these episodes based on how they appear in the manga, since I'm going to have to abide by its pacing the closer we get to the season finale, which means that they're not going to be in this episode. Mayuko is not the homeroom teacher, but rather who appears to be the gym leader is present during the midterm results instead. 2001 started to implement Yuki's participation in the student council in order to explain why he didn't walk Toru home, but this was neither in the reboot nor the manga. The original has Kyo catch Toru rather than her just falling, so this results in him changing to a cat. And I think that was just the product of not wanting her to get harmed. 2001 extends one panel of Kyo looking at recipes to a few scenes, one with him getting upset about leeks being a part of each recipe, and one with him getting irritated about Momiji teasing him. It also adds a scene of him going out to the garden to grab the ingredient. There's an added scene of Shigure pranking Mitsuru over the phone. 2001 dub changes Kyo's line about Toru being reliable to saying that maybe she's more reliable than she thinks. There's another added scene of Yuki getting pissed that his leeks were pulled from the garden, followed by a fight between Yuki and Kyo. Hattori is shown to physically arrive with Kisa and Momiji, and Shigure also describes how painful his shots were to pad runtime as well. Shigure and Momiji aren't sent out of the room. The 2001 dub has Kisa refer to Hattori as grandpa rather than uncle. This could simply be a translation issue, as the difference between the words for grandpa and uncle is one letter. Manga in 2001 Hattori are shown smoking. Another change 2001 did was having Toru prefer fall rather than summer, so Toru doesn't mention wanting to work during the summer break. Shigure doesn't bring up the Zodiac's respective bank accounts, so Yuki doesn't have a negative reaction to the subject of family. Instead, he says something about how the main house is hesitant to help pay for more repairs. Toru doesn't ponder Kagura starting to keep her distance. 2001 adds a scene of Kazuma talking to Akito about removing Kyo's beads. My guess is that it was the director's way of including Akito as a scheming villain, but this scene just makes Kazuma look like he's not doing for Kyo's benefit, but rather by answering to someone else. Kagura reflecting on the past is changed in 2001. She's supposed to say, or rather think, that Kyo was the one who distanced himself, but instead, in the sub, she says that he sought after her first, and that she trusted him. In the dub, she says that she believed in Kyo's hands for the first time he reached out to her, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. In the 2001 dub, Yuki and Kagura call Kazuma Master, which is a bit confusing considering Kyo is the only one meant to call him that. Both subs correctly refer to him as Jihan, which is another way to say teacher, while 2019's dub uses sensei since most of the West is familiar with that term. 2001 skips Kagura and Shigure talking about Kyo being quiet in front of Yuki. Kyo doesn't ask about Kazuma being scared of Akito in the first show. Kagura saying she's staying and Toru asking where Kazuma is staying, as well as Toru's request to see Kyo and Kazuma spar, is also skipped. This decision affects a later scene. 2001 adds Shigure's inner thoughts about Toru potentially being hurt by Kazuma's choice. The eyes of Kyo's true form is purple instead of orange in 2001. Young Kyo screaming that he'll kill Yuki and then himself is skipped. Shigure is not present in the flashback with young Akito. As I mentioned in the very first video on my channel where I compare Kyo's true form episodes, the majority of episode 25 in 2001 is complete filler. That includes Akito's arrival, Shigure's appearance, Kagura and Yuki's conversation, and Toru running to her mother's grave with her best friend showing up. Because of these changes, Toru doesn't immediately run after Kyo. Check out that video for more of an explanation as to why this is the case. People accusing young Kyo of his mother's suicide is moved to after Kyo has transformed in 2001, and is followed by all of young Kyo and Kazuma's scenes, which are meant for the next episode. As mentioned earlier, since Toru doesn't ask about Kyo sparring, she doesn't appear with Kazuma to see him off. Kazuma's conversation with her is therefore awkwardly placed in the middle of Kyo's flashbacks, despite him not being there. The full scene of Kazuma asking Kyo to live with him is moved from after Kyo and Toru's return to the house to when Kazuma first arrives in 2019. Kyo reflects on his mother before Toru shows up in the original. Kyo threatening Toru out of fear and scratching her is not in 2001. Instead, Yuki gets scratched in trying to prevent him from leaving, even though Yuki is not meant to be present. Toru is meant to only be knocked back a bit, but 2019 has her fall down a hill into water. This is the first time Kyo speaks Toru's name in the entire series, but 2001 ignores that completely. Akito makes another appearance once Toru and Kyo return, but that's because it leads to a 2001 exclusive with Toru randomly confronting Akito in an attempt to make a finale. Kyo doesn't ask where Kazuma went, but rather the scene just skips to them already meeting up. 2001 changed Kyo's perspective on Kazuma a bit. Instead of being unwilling to call Kazuma his father, he wants Kazuma to be willing to say so, despite the scene with Kyo yelling at his teachers being the same. In hindsight, it has the same message, but the actual line is meant to put more emphasis on Kyo's willingness to grow, rather than an idea of Kazuma needing to accept him as a son. Kakeru and Machi's appearances are added here from Chapter 42, which would be at the end of the original anime's episode 22, which, due to Uo and Hana's episodes being moved to season 1, it will likely be episode 1 in season 2. Likewise, Isuzu's appearance is from Chapter 48, which would technically be a few episodes into season 2. This was probably done to entice new viewers and assure old ones about the entire series being completed. For obvious reasons, Ayame's shop episode will be skipped for now, and Hiro, Ritsu, Uo, and Hana's respective episodes will be left until next time. So I'm rushing this episode a little bit. I'm really sorry if I sound a little tired. This will probably be posted sometime around the day that the episode is supposed to debut. In any case, I hope you guys watch it and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm so excited for all of you to finally see season 2. It's just I'm so happy for you guys. Alright, hope you enjoyed the dub comparisons, and thanks for listening to this episode. See you next time, guys.
I suddenly had this feeling that Toru was here in need of a rescue. Call it a writer's intuition, if you will.
My gut, it told me to come, Toru. It's a novelist thing. I have a keen sixth sense.
Aya, Hattori, and I grew up together. We were in the same classes through grade school, middle school, and high school.
See, there's me, Ayame, and Hattori, all the same age. So we've been together since elementary school.
I'm sure you could smash this table to bits with your bare hands. But I'm equally sure you could punch the table without breaking it.
You can break a table in half with one punch. We're well aware of that. But you're also capable of stopping that punch right before it lands.
Come now, Kyo, it's so difficult to figure out. If your brain were working, you'd know I came in through the door, naturally.
I came through the door like a civilized person. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, are you, Yuki and Kisa?
Don't worry about Yuki and the others. They're big boys. I do think they can manage something on their own.
Yuki and the others will be fine on their own. They're not helpless children. I promise they can fend for themselves.
Don't worry, Shigure. Let them stare. I'm here now, and even if the rest of the world shall turn against you, I will always stand by your side.
There's nothing to fear, darling. Should the world turn on you, I will remain ever at your side, steadfast and true.
Even within the Soma family itself, there are few who know our secret in regard to the Zodiac. It is exceedingly rare that a complete outsider such as yourself should come to learn of it.
But that means even within the Soma family, a full 2/3 aren't aware of the Zodiac's secret. So perhaps you can see how outrageous it is for a complete stranger like you to know it.
After everything I've told you, you're still causing trouble, aren't you?
What have I told you about making a nuisance of yourself, Ayame?
Yuki, weren't you and Kyo planning to take Toru for a walk around the lake today?
Yuki, Kyo, you should be going. Didn't you have plans to take Honda down to the lake today?